everyone. Today I thought I would show you how I make a water sling. It's like a baby carrier that you use in a pool or in water. I've even used it in the shower a few times. It is super awesome, especially for when they're young, like really little. Not really little, but like I think around 6 months of age, because they can get really slippy and they move a lot. So when they're in this sling, they're a lot more secure and they love it. My charity, we had one last year, and we went to my in-laws' house and they had a pool, and we took Charity in there, and she was a fish. She kicked around with me in the water sling, and when she got out of it, she was so upset, and that's all she wanted to do was get back in there. So it's super useful, and I have since given mine away. So I am going to make a new one. It's rather simple. You just have to have the right tools, and I do mean you really do need the right tools because you are carrying your child in it. So you don't want to skimp on these. And if you shop right, it's not super expensive. It's way cheaper than buying one. But anyway, so I'm going to show you that process, and yeah, here we go. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the fabric. You're going to want to get athletic mesh. It is stretchy going this way, but not going this way, and that is super important. If you get the stuff that's stretchy both ways, then your baby can possibly slip out, and of course we don't want that. So you have to get, it's called athletic mesh. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna try. It looks like this. It's kind of got a shiny side and then a dull side, and like I said, it's only stretchy one way, not both ways. I got this at Walmart on clearance, so I paid $1 a yard, and I just got what was left of the bolt. I think it was about 4.5 yards, but it's usually like $9 or $10 a yard. And a good sling, I think a good length is like 1.5 yards, but I could just want longer, I'm not sure. And then you want it about 30 inches wide. Some other tools that you're gonna need: a really good pair of scissors. If you want it, you can also use a rotary cutter. These are very important. These have to be ordered online. I have never seen them in stores. These are Sling Rings, and I will link below where I got them from. I got them from slingrings.com. You can get, for a water sling, you can either get the small aluminum rings, or they also sell, I think they're nylon, I can't remember, but they're sort of a plasticky ring, and I heard mixed things about them. Some people said they were a lot more slippy, other people said they prefer them. So I think that's just personal preference. I got the aluminum because I have also made actual like everyday wear ring slings, and so I got the multi-pack that came with a small, a medium, and a large set of rings. And this is the small. I do not have any more large ones except on my ring sling, which I don't have with me right now. And then I do have a medium, but I packed it away already. Sorry about that. But you can buy them separately. I think it's like $7.95-ish for a set of small rings. I could be wrong on that number, but it's pretty reasonable in price. So you need these. And again, I've only seen them at that one place. It's a very trusted seller. They are safety tested. I would not skimp on these at all. They don't have any seam, or not a visible one, and so they're not going to break. It will hold the weight of your baby. And then of course you're going to want a sewing machine. Any basic sewing machine will do. Mine is a Brother. It is a sewing and embroidery machine, but again, any sewing machine will do. Even the most basic of sewing machines. I could actually use like a vintage that only has the straight stitch. I'm just not good with it, so I'm going to use my electric. It's faster anyway. I forgot to show you guys also, I am going to use 2 sewing feet, but you can just use the one. I'm just gonna cheat. So this is the basic one. This will be used, this is the one that you could use throughout. It'll do basically any stitch. And then I'm going to cheat when I hem, and I'm gonna use my rolled hem foot. It looks like this, just because I don't feel like folding over and then keeping that. So this is much easier. So I'm gonna cheat with that. All right, so we're gonna measure and cut. I'm going to make the length about 2 yards. I was going to do 1.5, but I was looking at it and I really just don't like the length of it. If you're not super tall, I think it would work out fine. But if you're a little bit tall, I would recommend at least 2 yards. So I've already measured out 2 yards, and I'm just gonna cut down the line, and I'm gonna use the 10-inch line just because it's out there and it's a little easier for me. And then we're gonna measure out about 30 inches in width, and I might give myself a couple of inches. It doesn't have to be super even or perfect. We are gonna hem it, so that's not a super huge deal. But the more even, the easier it is to deal with. So. Okay, so my board is 24 inches one way and 36 inches the other. To get 30 inches, I'm actually going to lay it like this, open up, and I'm going to find 15 inches, and I'm gonna fold that over. And I'll actually probably do 16 just so that I have a couple of inches. And we'll fold it all the way to the other end, so we have about 32. And then if I can find my pin, I will pin it in place. Sorry, I should have been more prepared. I had a pin out and it disappeared, so. Okay, we're gonna pin that. And then we're gonna turn it over and do the exact same thing just to make sure we're even on both sides. Whoops, we just lost our thingy. All right, so we're gonna go to 16 inches, that's what I said. Okay, and we'll just meet it up at the one line. Okay, and the easiest way that I know to cut such a large length, because it's like, what's 36 and 36? 72? 72 inches or thereabouts. I'm gonna fold it a couple of times. We might get a couple of jagged edges here and there, but we can straighten those up. And we have 2 extra inches just in case we mess up. So that should be good too. We're gonna try and keep it pretty well even this whole process, but it's not going well. This is the part that I hate, actually. This, I think, is one of the hardest parts. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So I have folded it a couple of times, and I have my line here. I'm just gonna cut with my rotary cutter because it's faster, but you can use scissors as well. Okay, and we're gonna put it on the 12 line just because it's right there. And we'll try to cut as even as possible. You know what, we might switch to the scissors actually. I think that'll go through all of the layers easier. Okay. I'm trying super hard not to cut too unevenly. so that I don't have to take up too much. Okay, and we'll just set that other side. And we will unfold it and see how we did. How uneven it looks. It's not too bad. There are a few loose ends that we'll cut off just so that they don't get caught. I am going to use, like I said, the rolled hem foot. So I don't want anything getting caught in that. Okay. And there we go. Okay, I also forgot to mention that you're going to want to use a pretty strong polyester thread. I'm just using Coats & Clark, which you can get at Walmart or Joann or Hobby Lobby or anything like that. But you can use, as long as it's 100% polyester and it's really strong, it's not going to break when you tug on it, it'll be good. For the hem, it really doesn't matter too much. But yeah, okay, so to get started, I do have to roll a little bit. Hopefully I got it enough. And you're going to want to go slow because it does have a lot of holes in the fabric. So it's going to be a little harder than normal cotton. And if you go too fast, your needle will get caught. And it'll be a huge hassle and you'll get mad at your machine and your life. And I forgot to reset this. Okay. I completely forgot how to move the position of my needle. So sorry about that. But I think I've got it squared away. I've got it started a little. My needle is down, so we're gonna lift this up and try and get this thing in the hardest part about the rolled hem foot is getting it started. Once you've got it started, it's pretty simple and it's so much faster. Okay, anyway, one more thing. Like I said before when I was showing you the fabric, it does have a shiny side and a duller side. Make sure that your hem goes on the inside so it's on the dull side. Otherwise it's gonna look silly. It's not a huge deal, it's just more cosmetic. So make sure you have it facing the correct side. And we're gonna go ahead and stitch this hem. Or not. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, I think I have it set now. Maybe I'm going to turn it up just a tiny bit. Maybe a little more than that. There we go. That's a little better. You're not going to want to go much faster than what I'm going because, again, it could get caught in the holes and then you'll have a huge mess on your hands and that's not going to be fun. The hem part is a little more forgiving, but still, you don't want to tear the fabric or compromise the integrity of it by catching a thread or something. So you definitely don't want to go too fast. Alright, so basically you're just hemming all four sides and then we'll go on. we now have all 4 sides hemmed. So what we're going to do now is measure for our rings. You will need 2 straight pins to begin with, and then you'll probably need quite a few more. I like to do them about 18 inches into the fabric. So to get that, I'm going to fold it in half at 9. Go all the way to 18, and we're gonna pin it here. There are several ways to get your sling finished. You can pleat the edges, you can gather the edges. There's a lot of ways to do it. I do the gathered because A, it's the most comfortable for me, and B, it's the easiest. So I'm gonna try to get it as even as possible. It seems like this part is longer. I'm not sure if it just stretched while I was sewing it or if I just cut it longer. I'm not sure, but that's okay. Okay, now we have it pinned. They're both about 18 inches in. So I'm actually going to take this last pin off. I didn't even have to put it in per se. I'm going to go and stick them in a little bit and get it back to 18. I'm actually going to pull it up so that I know I'm right at 18, because I think, like I said, this one's a little longer. And then what I'm going to do is grab my pins, and as I pull the rings through, I'm going to kind of pin it in place every inch or two. That way, hopefully it's fairly even and not too bad. So I'm going to undo this for the moment. And again, I'm going into the edge with the hem, so the shiny side will be out, and that'll be the right side and not the wrong side. I am attempting to get this as straight as possible. Hopefully we'll end up with 18 on the other side again. If you're not very confident, I would definitely recommend leaving that pin in on the other side, but I'm stubborn and I hate it, so. Okay. Okay, now at this point you can either do a straight stitch or a zigzag. I am going to do zigzag, and I am going to add the back stitch to it. I've switched to my straight foot. I'm going to take that last pin off. You're going to want to go super, super slow, especially with this first line. You're going to do 3 lines of stitching. Now you don't want to do any super fancy stitching, because the less holes you have in your fabric, the better. You don't want to compromise the integrity of the fabric. You don't want to add too many unnecessary holes. So super decorative stitching, probably shy away from that. I have done like squiggly stitching before, and that's not too bad, but you want this to be super safe and super functional, so try to shy away from those super cute things that create a lot of holes and unnecessary things. So I'm gonna have everything facing the same direction. Now we're gonna put our needle down and we are going to slowly start stitching. And I do mean slow. You may need to help your fabric along a little bit. I am sure you could probably use like a walking foot, which are made for stretchy fabrics. I've never tried it. I do have a walking foot, but I'm not very good with it. So, yeah, there's that. The other thing you want to be aware of is make sure that when you are sewing, you are only sewing through the 2 layers here, because you don't want to bunch up your fabric and sew over anything else. You just want this layer and this layer. Otherwise, you're going to have a big jumbled mess and it's not going to be very protective or safe, and we don't want that. So go really, really slow. Keep checking the underside. Make sure nothing's bunching, nothing is uneven. Make sure it stays thin the whole way through. We're going to take out that pin. Try to leave your pins in as long as possible so that nothing slides. It is a very slippy fabric. I would not recommend going very much faster than I'm going right now. Even what I'm doing, it might be a little too fast for it, because you don't want your needle to get caught in the holes. But you know your machine, so if you're comfortable and confident, you do you. So you can see, no bunching so far. We're going to try to keep it that way. And I do recommend doing it this way so that the rings are facing your machine, because it's way easier to keep it from bunching rather than having all of this length on the inside. So make sure that your rings are what goes on the inside. It's much, much easier that way. I'm going to let that drop again because it's easier for me that way. Try to pull it a little tight so it stays straight and doesn't bunch. But not too tight, because you want it to travel without getting stuck. Alright, so actually I think I did a pretty good job. As you can see, we do have our stitching here. Now what I'm gonna do is do 2 rows above this one, not super high above it, but just a little bit. That way if one of these seams tries to come undone, you have 2 others that have to come undone too before your baby falls out. So I'm gonna get that done, and then I'm going to show you the finished product. What I'm gonna do is I did the zigzag on the bottom, I'm gonna do a straight stitch in the middle, and then a zigzag on the top. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll see you guys in a second. All right, so as you can see, I do have 3 rows of stitching. My tension was just a little bit off. There is a little bit of bunching, but it's not enough to worry about, and it is pretty sturdy. I'm actually going to show you me wearing one of my babies in just a second. Alright, forgive my little bathroom selfie type thing, but so this is me wearing my 18-month-old. As you can see, it is holding. Honestly, I think I should have gone like 2.5 yards for the tail, because I do prefer it a little longer, but it'll do. She's rather comfortable. As you can see, I did, after I got it tight, I wrapped the tail into the rings to make it a little more secure. It's not recommended to use the sling any other time besides in water, except to try it on. Because it can get rather slippy. But as you can see, she's pretty secure. Like it? Yeah. And as you can see, she's rather angry that I took her out of it. She wants back in.
Are you making a video?
You like that, huh? You want to get back in the carrier? Poor baby. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. If you do end up making one, go ahead to my Facebook page and leave a picture in the comments or something. I will link that below, but that way we can see your masterpiece. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you got something out of it. Until next time, bye guys.